Hello guys, well, welcome to the speed paint of Midas. I'm going to be talking about his backstory and where he came from. So, I'm going to be answering question 1. Okay, question 1. Was Midas always a semi-cyborg? Okay, so he was not always a semi-cyborg. You see, Midas grew up in a very, like, he was always, he grew up in a loving family, but his father was a mob boss, or somewhat of a mob boss. He was a part of a secret, it's not much of a secret society, but mostly a group of people who would help, King Poe's operations. He would help him with his operations, illegal operations. Eventually, he got into the business. His dad taught him that men don't have emotions or sympathy, so he got that from his father, since he was always close to his father. See, that's the opposite with him and Fall. Him and Fall, aka the other character, were basically they're opposites of each other. He's really close with his father, and his father taught him to not have morals or have any sympathy. So then after a while, after him getting into the business of, illegal, trafficking of drugs or things like that, also since he was not afraid to take people out, he got that from his father. But, after a while, he became a little too curious and a little too trustworthy of, Poe's, orders. And then, him and his crew got into a booby-trapped house, had explosions. So after a while, after the house exploded, he blew half of his face off in his arm, and it's in the same arm that he uses to pull the trigger. So he was not able to use a gun. But Mr. Poe saw something in him, a spark that he saw was useful to him. So after a while, he turned him into a personal little, basically a killing machine. But also, the explosion blew off a good amount of his brain. But not the much he needed. So he completely removed the part of the brain that allowed him to feel love, or sympathy, or morals. I mean, the lack of morals that he already had because of his father. Which leads us to our next question. Okay, the next question is, does Midas have any morals? No. And the next one I cannot answer because, not the third one, the other one. But, he does not have any morals. Mr. Poe removed the part of his brain that allowed him to feel any sort of sympathy or sadness. All he knows is orders, and he'll follow orders, no questions asked. And he doesn't just listen to Mr. Poe, he listens to Crow. I'll explain that later. Anyway, just move on to the next question. And the reason I can't answer the other question is because it'll reveal too much. But you can figure out you can get your answer by listening through, and you can hearing through a story. You might figure out your answer, but I'm not going to reveal too much. But question 3. Okay, so next question is, does Midas have a favorite item or something that he carries around? Kind of. Like I said, his main weapon is his arm, his mechanical arm. But but also for the record, I think I already mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it again in case if I did. But basically, this takes place in 1962, so pronouns weren't really a thing that were explored, so he goes by he, him, really. But but to continue the question, he doesn't really have a favorite thing that he carries around besides his hand, because that's his, most prized possession. But he's mostly thing that like I said, his arm and basically in the eye on the other side of his head that he uses to track heat or heat signatures, things like that. But his hand is mostly his most greatest tool. And basically, if you remove his hand, he basically becomes, a normal fighter. Though he's insanely strong. Imagine carrying around a 10-pound hand constantly. Now let's move on to the next question before the speed paint ends. Next question is, does Midas feel any sort of emotions? Like I said, Poe removed the part of his brain to even think for himself, let alone feel emotions. So, he can't really feel emotions. All he knows is orders, basically. He'll follow orders, no questions asked. But, he does have a bit of a soft spot, and he can technically be the closest, I don't know how to explain this. Basically, he does have a soft spot for, very over time you can feel him getting more comfortable with you, things like that. That's the closest that you'll ever get to getting an actual relationship with him. he doesn't understand, well, he doesn't feel or understand love, but he can feels when someone is trustworthy or someone that he wants to be around. For example, well, his father. But his father died. I'm not going to say how because that would reveal too much, and you'll figure lots of stuff out about him. I don't want to reveal that. Basically, like I said, all he knows is orders, and that's the closest thing you'll get to him feeling any sort of emotion is, well, he'll feel comfortable around you. He'll be a lot more comfortable, basically. But we won't really see him. We won't really see any humane parts of him or him being caring about any other character, especially in the Raven. Jesus Christ, his kill count is insane. I'm not gonna say his kill count, but oh my god, I don't know how I thought about his number that bad. So yeah, but yeah, okay. So yeah, that's all his all on space. Basically, all the questions you guys wanted to know about him. Hope you guys enjoyed, and bye, y'all.